Okay, everyone. Happy 4th of July. Hope everybody's having a lot of grilling and barbecuing going on at your favorite spots. If you could afford getting there, especially if you live on the left coast or the right coast. Today is the 4th of July, and I know I mentioned that I might be able to get that operation video for the 145 Philco going for the holiday, but the holiday is going to be all weekend. So I've got knobs that are curing up today. They've been polished and sealed. And we'll be getting to that in the next couple of days. I wanted to make sure that I got everything that I needed to have for the operation video ready for the operation video. So back to this night, D-126. I don't know what came over me. But if you remember in the intro video, I was showing this edge along the back, which was, let's see, this is the interior, which was that one down there, and it was separating. It was separating about up to here, I think. Wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one, because this one here had this long wedgie in there, so it was this edge, and it was separating about up to here, about halfway or so, maybe a little more than halfway, and it was separating up here a little ways. So what I did was I just busted it apart, took it back to raw wood, and we're going to take and restructurize this thing. And we're going to get all these edges cleaned up so that we can re-glue it back solid. Yeah, we're going to re-glue it back solid. I got to get this bar in here, and we're going to get the base there. But first I'm going to take and sand this base down, both sides. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as taking the rails off the bottom. I don't think I will, but we are going to replace. We are going to take and relam this thing as good as could humanly possible, and we're going to get it back in real shape. I got this area reassembled. I just need to clean it up a little bit more now and put some finished stuff on it so that it is more presentable. I'm gonna try. I think I can get these night sticker decals. I'm not sure. I think I can, but I don't think I'm gonna pay the price for those. I'm going to make my own. This is the only one for this radio. That is the only one that's needed on this cabinet. We are going to glean some information regarding the tube layout chart and anything else that we can, so that I can stick a label inside, so that the next owner will at least have the information for the radio, proper information for the radio. You know, I can't imagine for the life of me why a collector would want to collect these radios, offer them up for, well, I see a lot of them starting bids at 99 cents. And then they skyrocket in the last few days to over $200. And the new owners buy these doggone things for that kind of money or more, and they don't get documentation with it. If you're gonna keep a vintage radio, at least for God's sakes, get some information so that whenever you do decide to let go of it, the next owner is, at least if he's got the ability to rebuild it or refurbish it or restore it, he can, and without having to go down and find out, oh shit, I couldn't get any documentation on the radio. That is poor, really poor. As Bugs Bunny used to say, very sloppy, Roscoe, very sloppy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to redo this up. Well, we've got a lot farther to go on this thing. I got these little wedgie thingies cleaned up and this thing. Now these, look at this. Chihuahua. Hey, Chihuahua. Remember I said these were loose? You don't put these in a baffle, like a speaker mount, like the speaker baffle mount, like this. And because I don't care how tight you get them, they're going to work loose once that speaker starts a thumping. So, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's poor. They do make things for these. They're speaker mount thingies with a flat flange on them and two gnarly grippers that go right into the grain of the wood or the grain of the plywood and holds it there till kingdom come, or kingdom king. Yeah, we're gonna find something to put in this thing, and even if we have to take and put some other fresh things in it, or maybe have to reuse these things if I don't have anything in my junk pile, we'll epoxy them in so that way they don't give loose. So yeah, let me see what else was there on this. Anything other than a wiping out with some gastral fluid. I think we're going to get that out of there before I yank myself on it. I think that's going to be just about it for this. We're going to have to take and I still got to take and find I got to find me a lens cover. I'm sure Palmquist will have one. If not, I can give him the dimensional data of this, and I'm sure he can make one for it. So, okay, let's see. Can I blab some more? Yeah, I think I can do it a little bit more than that. I shelved the chassis for this in favor of doing that 145 Philco and getting it reassembled for the operation video. But then I thought last night to myself, I'll get it prepped up so we can come out here early in the morning today and shoot a morning session scan of the thing. And then it hit me from both sides. I didn't polish the knobs and the buttons. So yeah, so that is happening today, and so it looks like it'll be the rest of the day because I want them things to cure up. Because if you go touching them on the same day, even though you've given them 2 or 3 hours, when you go to handling them again without gloves, you're going to leave your fingerprints all over them. So keep that in mind. Technical note. So I think that's it for right now. We'll have probably a little bit more a little later. Okay, everybody. Hope everybody had a happy 4th of July. Today is Friday, the 5th of July. We're out under the Casbah this morning. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, a little after 9 in the morning. We've got this base glued up again, and everything else glued up all the way around, top and bottom and sides. We got the wedges pieces back in. That is about totally cured. This here was just glued up. We're putting that side piece back on, and then we're going to dress up all the holes in the back. I'm not sure why this has all these holes in the back. I don't think this particular model radio had a back on it. It may have, but I haven't seen anything but catalog pictures of this radio, and none of them are from the back. I'm going to make another attempt at trying to find something about these radios and the back. If I remember correctly, this radio has phono input, and you have to access the chassis in order to do that. So I'm thinking it didn't have a back. So I'm not going to figure a back on this. We're going to plug up all these holes and get it all nice and dressed up and everything, and get all the imperfections done in it. Yes, I consider redoing the imperfections, because when you buy a refurbished radio online, you should get a refurbished radio, not a so-called restoration where Murphy's oil has been applied to the finish and it's good enough. No, I go all the way and take it down to raw wood and take it and pre-stain it and restain it. So anyway, we're going to put some insect screen on these big ass openings in here to keep the bugs and the rodents out, in case you have some. In case those individuals who consider purchasing this radio has migrant workers in it, in the house. So this will be completed today. Now, one other thing, let me grab my coffee here. One other thing I wanted to touch base and give an update on. I know I said that I was going to try and get a operation video on this Philco 145 done for the holiday, but it didn't work out. I did get the knobs and buttons cleared, polished, done up, ready for prime time, but I had an issue with interactions with this antenna. I'm not sure about when I tested these tubes out. You see that question mark there? -1. On my tube tester, it's got a 275-degree scale readings on the thing, and up at the far end, beyond the yellow zone, is the green zone. And the area of the green zone is partitioned into, well, I've separated it into 5 graduations. The -1 means it's in the low part of the yellow zone, which is just a little bitty area about that wide. And the question mark means, well, there's a question mark in that yellow zone. So it's saying this tube is iffy. So, and this one here is a Philco. No, it's a Zenith tube. Let me get the bugs off of me. So, anyway, when I tested that 1232 or 7G7 tube that was in the radio originally, how in the hell it was working, I don't know, but it wasn't working that great. This one here is a better tube, even though it's an iffy tube. So I believe the original one had a short in it in one of the tests. I'm not sure which one it was. So I had this on the shelf. This here. I know the tube will function. Doesn't function very good, but it does function. So I keep it as a backup in case of anything. So this is the only tube I got on the shelf now. So I pulled it off and stuck it in there and utilized it and used it for the test. This is the tube that was in there whenever you seen the last video of the operation of this thing on the multiband scans. But when I go to close this up and it's all flat, I get Tweety birds. Tweety birds, you know, in the thing. And if I just tilt back the antenna a little ways, not very far, but just a little ways, the Tweety birds fly away. So I'm thinking that this tube here is to the point where it can't handle that antenna being that close, and they're getting some interactions on the thing. I noticed my Cree torch, it influences it quite a bit too. It doesn't usually happen on all radios, but on some radios it does. This here is one of them radios, and it does interact with it. It doesn't even have to be close. You can pick it up. So I'm thinking I gotta replace this tube in order to see if everything's gonna be okay. So that's what I'm waiting for. I just ordered 2 of these last night from somebody in Timbuktu. So it's going to be a while, a few days. So anyway, we're going to go back to working on the night radio. We're going to get that chassis tore down and get it scheduled for a bathing, as well as the other parts. We're going to extract them off and everything. So we will video those because I've never done this radio of this model ever before, and this is going to be a learning curve for me. So I got to document everything I experienced with that radio, including whatever I've already experienced with it. So and in the meantime, we're going to be working the shell. So we're not getting a great deal done daily because right now it is 9:30 and it is pushing 100 degrees out here, thereabouts, about 100 degrees. It's supposed to be 110 today. I can handle up to about maybe 105 in here with this, especially with this noise maker right next to me, blowing in my ear, and it kind of helps get the dewdrops off of me. So other than that, whenever I get to a break point, I go inside, and it will be 4:35 p.m., 5:30 p.m. before we come back out here and take up the battle again. So That's what's in the works today. So we're losing probably about in some cases 4 or 5 or 6 hours a day because it's just too hot. The finishing on this took a while because of the heat. You can get good finishes, especially reflective finishes from gloss, when you're doing it in the heat of the day. It's just too hot in here. So what I do is get the cabinet, take it inside, let it sit in there until she cools down real good and everything. Take my can of clear gloss in there, whichever one I'm going to use. Take it in there and cool it down. And then when I'm prepped and ready to go, I bring the cabinet out, set it up on that paint step over there, and shoot it before she gets a chance to warm up. And then I let it set for about 15 minutes, and then I pick it up, take it back inside, and there she sits for 2 hours until the next coating. So it does add time to the mix. That's the reason why it's taking so long on that. Otherwise, this already would have been done if it was last month. It had been already out the door. So, okay, I gabbed your ears off enough and didn't do anything, but I promised to get out here sometime today and clear this off and get that night chassis up here and bring you up to speed. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for your comments. Like and subscribe, and you don't have to worry about buying me a coffee. I got plenty of coffee. See you on the next one.